Hello and welcome to my Ironman Collection Log Series, Episode 7, Tempoross. We're gonna kick off today's episode with 5 hard glue caskets. Every time I get a hard glue that has the requirement of getting a rune heraldic shield, I'm gonna open the caskets that I have already in the bank. So if I get that one, I will open it. And on the first try, I got the Armadillo chaps, which are pretty useful, especially when it comes to God Wars Dungeon, but also they are better than my Black D'hide that I currently have. Other than that, sadly, I got nothing, and not the Rune Heraldic Shield, so this hard clue is another drop, sadly. After hard clues, I got to my AFK activity, which was fishing for the big shark. And since you see this part right now, you might have guessed right what's coming up now. You can see in the top left that this session I haven't been here for that long, but you always get kind of excited once you hear the collection log pop up, because you're there and you don't really think you're gonna get it. And
the collection log.
I didn't even finish my whole fishing barrel before I got the shark. I wasn't even sure what would happen if you get the shark, but it would be kind of funny if it went into the fish barrel as well. But it stayed outside, got into my inventory like a pet would. And I walked over to the bank to show you that I was a little bit dry on the big shark. I got some other raw shark through stuff like winter toad and a bit of Tempoross. But overall, that was basically all fished, so I was a little bit dry. Since I want to do Tempoross, I decided to get my whole spirit angler outfit, so I don't need a rope anymore to get myself tied to the totem poles. So that's what I did first. I got my full spirit angler, and then I decided to give Tempoross a spin. Just like I did with all the other activities, I'm gonna talk you through a full run of Tempoross first, and then I'm gonna show the searches that I did. Basically, Tempoross is just like everything else, like a little intricate dance. Once you get into the rhythm of it, it's kind of chill doing it solo, and you get way more points doing it solo. If you're just here for the XP, I would say you should go for masses and don't even cook your fish. Just fish them and then instantly put them into the cannon. So you get way more XP doing that. But when you're on a solo, I think it's kind of easy to do it. You basically fish until you have like 8 fish in your inventory, or you could also look at the energy in the top left. I always look to run to the cooking spot at around like 90%, somewhere at that ballpark, because what you want to do is you basically want to only fish when the double harpoon spot is there, and all the other time you want to cook, in theory at least. And since I'm soloing it, what you want to do is, that's why my inventory is set up like that. You basically want to put, in the first run, you want to put 17 cooked fish in. So Tempoross goes below 10% or at 10 or lower. So with 17 you put it at 4% energy left. That's what I'm always doing. I put like 17 in. And afterwards, what you want to do is you always want to put 19 cooked in. So when Tempoross respawns after one phase, it instantly goes back down to his 4%. Because when he is below 10%, or at or below 10%, it doesn't use any of his special attacks, like the wave you just saw where you have to tether to the pole, or this one where strong clouds roll in and you have to douse the fires. That's why my inventory is set up just the way it is. I have those 5 buckets. You usually would only need 4, but I have 5 just so it's visually a bit more clear for me. Yeah, then you just go ahead, place all your fish into the cannon. Once you have like 17 in, you go right back to fishing. You have to be a little bit on the lookout for these tornadoes it shoots at the first round. But even if you get stunned by them, it doesn't really matter. It just makes your timing a tiny bit harder, because there's another wave coming up if you get stunned. Or sometimes when you're a bit slow, there might also be another wave coming up when you're at the top. But that isn't too bad when that happens, so you just need to basically relax, and the first run is always the hardest, like the first phase. You just have to get used to it, and sometimes you don't make the perfect amount of fish in the first try. Then you have to be a little bit like, you have to remember how much fish you still need to put in, but that's doesn't happen too often, or it's mostly, since your inventory is set up like mine, it should be pretty easy to just see, okay, that's the rest of the fish that I need to put in. So as you can see here now, the storm intensity is getting kinda high. You can still cook until like 90%, you can still be at the cooking side. That's why I just stayed there and fished. So you can, like now you can see I'm still cooking. If it reaches 90%, I need to run. You can even go to, I think 93 is the highest you can go to make it. But then it gets really tight. And as you can see here now, I have one more fish than I needed. I have 20 fish, so I'm gonna leave the last cooked one in my inventory. Once you have all the fish put in, even now you don't run instantly down to harm Tempoross. You're just gonna stay up there and keep on putting them in. You will run down and basically harm him as much as you can. And once that is done, sorry for that. Once he's back up, he's gonna drop instantly below 10% again, so you're fine and won't get any more disruption while fishing, which is kinda neat. And doing it like that, I always get around 9 or 10 permits per run. It's almost as if you're doing the firefighting method, but you're doing it with, in my opinion, way less effort, because you don't have to have the runes in your inventory, douse all the fire, and the timing is a little bit different for that, because now every round is basically the same, and if you do the firefighting method, you have to be a little bit more on the lookout, because when you do it for quite some time, you get into the rhythm. That's what I meant with an intricate dance. You get into the rhythm of it, and you can basically do whatever on the side, and you just know what round you're in, what you need to do right now, and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes you still get kind of lost in it, and you can see on the top left as well, there is the indicator that we're in like phase 2 right now. So that's you can look right there as well in what round you are, if you get lost what you need to do. Because in the last round that I'm gonna do, I'm putting fish in both cannons. I'm gonna talk about that when that happens. The other thing that we can talk about right now is the XP that I gained, because the run is still going, and then I can come back when I do the double fish. I only tracked my fishing XP, but it's also a little bit of a spoiler I see right now, but you can see that I gained close to 1 million XP here in the time I did Tempoross to finish the medium tier. What I also gained was 1 cooking and 1 strength level, but that's just random because I was pretty close to a level. I didn't think that I would gain any significant XP in those skills, so I didn't even track them. So yeah, that's what I gained, like these 2 levels. Since you will see that I was somewhat lucky with my pulls, I finished it rather quickly. The other thing why I gained strength XP is when you have the barbarian training finished, you can basically just train, just fish without any harpoon, because you get the same, you have the same fish speed than you would with a normal harpoon, but you don't get any strength XP. So it is kind of better to just use your fist to fish. If you don't have the at least dragon harpoon to have the special attack for it. So that's what I did. Now you can see we're getting into the last phase of the fight, because you're always getting kind of close to it. Some rounds you even get kind of close to finishing it even at this point already. but that's nothing you want to do. You want to wait one more round to get even more permits, basically. You could finish it theoretically already now, but then you get less permits, so that's nothing you want to do. Now what you want to do is, in the last round, basically get a full inventory of fish, so you have the most amount of points you can gain. And it's always quite nice. It's something where you can see that the JGX moderators at least thought about it, that it kind of always, not perfectly, but it's getting pretty close to the amount that you fish and then cook, and then afterwards always the double harpoon one comes up. So it's quite nice to get. Once you're in the rhythm, you will feel what I say. That's the right word order. So once you're done with your whole inventory, you cook them up, and basically that's it. You cook them up, put them in both sides of the cannon. You want to do that because the amount of storm intensity you get now when you go for the next round is super high. So you have to put them in both cannons to kill Tempoross fast enough that the storm intensity doesn't reach 100% before Tempoross is downed. So that's why I always try to put them like almost 50-50, but that's not even needed. I think it's enough to put like 7 or 8 into one cannon and the rest in the other one. But I always try to balance it a bit, just to be on the safe side. And I think it's not too hard to see where you basically have to make the cut. You're gonna see that now. Because you stay up top so long, it actually is quite hard to finish him sometimes now. It always depends a bit on your RNG, how much damage you dealt to Tempoross. But you can wait. But I think you can also finish him now, because just shooting Tempoross doesn't make any difference in XP. That's why what I did here. I just not in XP, in permits. But in general, it would be the same if you just got ahead and needed another round. It would just be a tiny bit longer, but as you can see right there, I go into 10 permits. Sometimes it's 9, sometimes it's 10. So afterwards, I got ahead and used my searches. And sadly, I didn't get anything this time around. But that was also in the beginning. That was my first 100 searches that I did. I wasn't that lucky beforehand with anything. I was a little bit lucky with the fish barrel that I already had, but not incredibly lucky. I was almost on rate that I got it. Since I still needed quite a bit of stuff, I basically went ahead and always tried to get around 100 permits per search, so you stay in the flow of doing the game, and then just go ahead and have a little break basically with your 100 permits. I felt like 100 was the good sweet spot between getting a little bit of dopamine from getting your reward searches and basically staying in the flow of the minigame and don't get too burned out. I couldn't go for like 1,000 searches at a time. That would be a bit too much for me, at least. So I basically went ahead, stacked up about 100, and then this happened.
The collection log.
I freaking got the tiny temper. I didn't know. In the first second, I didn't really realize it. But then I was super, super lucky. It was also like pretty early. I mean, 500 permits. It's a 1 out of 8k. So that's super, super lucky to get it already. And I basically, if I don't go super dry, Tempoross should be an easy green log for me now. Which is really nice because it gets somewhat boring if you do it a lot. But I was over the moon. Getting Tempoross, Tiny Temper, he's also kind of cool, for me at least, when it comes to pets, because of the water that that's coming out, and the tiny fish he has inside of him, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it was super lucky to get it early on, and I'm still stoked that I got my first pet basically at Tempoross. That's just so cool to have. At this point, I started to worrying a bit that the pet RNG started to bite me in the butt, because I was kind of dry to get any other
Collection Log.
But then I got the big harpoon fish and instantly the tackle box in the next search. I was super stoked again, and I everything came back together basically right now, and you kind of get. I don't know if you all have that feeling as well, but when you farm out typical some kind of content, you basically know what you have to do or what you do in game. You log in, you know, okay, I'm gonna do Tempoross, and once you're done, even though it wasn't too long that I was there, but every time you finish a little grind like that, I'm always a bit like, okay, what do I do now? Wow, I can do basically whatever I want to do, and yeah, that's always a bit. Like I need to figure out what to do next. As you can see here, I only need the Tome of Water and the Dragon Harpoon, but I'm not gonna get the Dragon Harpoon from Tempoross. I'll only if I get super lucky I would get it from here, but I don't think I'm gonna grind it out here. I'm gonna try and get it from worms. That's way easier than grinding it out at Tempoross. While I did Tempoross on the side, I was grinding a bit of the worm agility course, and after I was done, I completely committed to it and got the calcified acorn, which is a recolor for the agility pet that I don't have sadly. But at least once I get it, I can go ahead and recolor it to the skeleton one. Afterwards, because I thought it would kind of fit doing Tempoross, I went ahead and got the Merfolk grind. I'm not gonna show the way it has to be done. Just look up a guide. It's super easy and chill. Maybe most of you did it during the leagues as well to get the agility XP. But now comes a little bit of a tricky one for me. For me, technically, I'm done with Tempoross because I have all the uniques that I need, but I don't really know if the Tempoross pet should count as a unique or if I need to go back and get the Tome of Water. Because for me at least, it counts as a unique, but it basically double counts as a pet as well. So I'm not sure if I should go back and basically get the Tome of Water now to be able to say, okay, I finished the medium tier for Tempoross. Because other than that, Tempoross is not gonna come back up. It would come back up basically at the point when you need to get the pets and all that kind of stuff. but that's something that I already done. So I'm not really sure if I should go back, or if I basically gonna wait until I get the Dragon Harpoon from Worms just to go ahead and finish up the green log. Maybe I'm not really sure what I should do. Maybe you can type in the comments what you would do or what I should do. I mean, I'm basically making up my own rules, so it's not that I'm forced to do anything. But I'm not really sure. I kind of want to have the green log, but I'm not gonna get the green log before I get the Dragon Harpoon. So I'm really not sure. And I also don't know if you need the Tome of Water for anything specifically. Yeah, that's gonna, if you have any idea, type it in the comments below. So after that, I thought I could finish the Fossil Island nodes section, because it's a quick and easy one, and I was in the area, so I just went ahead, put the Numelite in to finish up another 4 easy collection log slots and have another green log.
The collection log. The collection log.
While doing Tempoross, I was thinking about what I should do next, other than the Merfolk Triton and the 4 island nodes. I thought doing Hunter Rumors would be kind of fun to do again. So I started setting up my block list basically. And since I'm gonna go here all the time again and do the cabins here, I figured why not just give him the 500k so I don't have to pay him anymore. Yeah, then I kind of messed up there a bit. But on my first rumor that I did, and that I didn't want to block, I got the sack, I got level 77, I opened it up,
the
and boom, I got the Huntsman kit. So I was really, okay, I just was able, I wanted to set up my block list basically to get the best block list to get all 3 pets. But I don't need to do that anymore, at least not right now, because I got the unique that I need on my first Hunter Rumor basically. And as you can see now, it's not that I was super lucky with it. I think it's a 1 out of 50. I was a little bit dry on my first Hunter kit piece, but I don't mind it anymore. And with that, we're gonna come to the end of the episode. I think it was a pretty good one. We got quite some collection log slots. And if you don't want to miss out on any more episodes, feel free to subscribe. And if you liked it, at least leave a like. Bye bye.